cut out the few screw-ups that I made and, graphics that didn't load right. We've bought a better system. The system we've got does have some bugs. We didn't have the capital to do that until recently. So the point is that things are getting streamlined here. I got some big news for you. And if you go to Infowars.com, maybe we should do that on screen here in a minute, you can find what I am basically going to be covering tonight. But I think it's good that we started a bit late this evening because we were busy. We were busy before we taped the show, doing research, making phone calls on the news that we have. That's big news. If you thought the NDAA was bad, National Defense Authorization Act of last week was bad, if you thought that was hardcore, the secret arrest of Americans, the end of posse comitatus, military on the streets, the whole world a battlefield, if you thought all the announcements that they want to take your pension funds and put them into government control was bad, if you thought any of this MF Global stuff was bad, this new piece of intel that came in today that we researched all day and then put an article out just an hour or so ago on or less, if you think that all of that was crazy, this little piece was a crystallizer, was a real indicator of just how serious things are. And what am I talking about? Well, there it is on screen right there. Exclusive government activating FEMA camps across America, across the United States. And of course, that's quite a headline. We have the emails, we have the internal Halliburton KBR documents, government defense and infrastructure, not for public eyes, restricted info, sent to us by people in government. I'll just leave it at that. And it's got the 5 regions for the FEMA camps, and it talks about barricades and barbed wire and armed guards, and it says that they've built the camps and that now they need to get ready to staff them, and that they need to be ready within a 72-hour period for the guards and the people in the canteen with the food and the launderers and just the whole 9 yards. There it is. So they've been setting this up for more than 2 decades, and now they started earlier in the year, back in February of this year, advertising for upwards of 100,000 internment specialists here in the United States, and now we're learning where they'll be at. Now this particular manning of the camp is your local sports stadium, your local FEMA center. These are 300-person camps to 1,000-person camps where they then interrogate you and go over things, and then you're sent off to the 1 million-man camps that we're going to be breaking down. But I tell you what, I did a whole report on this. Oh, thank you, Marcos. Appreciate that water. I've done a whole report on this that's coming up. But I suggest that you do what anybody with common sense, and of course our listeners, I think I have a little extra common sense, I would call your friends and family right now. And I would tell them to mosey on over to Infowars.com so they can see this information. And I would tell them to get this information because it's a lengthy article that Kurt Nimmo and I put together this afternoon. It goes over all of it. And it's got links to films and congressional hearings and admissions of all of this. And so I want to challenge everybody to call their friends and their families now and realize that the new economy is to put tens of millions of people, we already have the biggest prison population in the world, in this archipelago, this giant chain of facilities all over the country. Because it's all there. All the government documents, all the government admissions, a civilian inmate labor camp program run by the Army, where they're at, all the details down to how they're going to break the families up and where the children go and the forced inoculations and everything. The executive orders, the legislation, the congressional hearings. But I tell you, Glenn Beck used to giggle and laugh a couple years ago. He really enjoyed that. Where for over a month he built it up that I think FEMA camps are real. We've done an investigation and we're going to expose it on this date. then the date would come and he's, oh, I'm sorry, we're not ready, but it's bad what we're finding. And then a day later, after saying, oh, we have popular mechanics, the yellow journalism specialist of the famous family of yellow journalism that wrote the book on it. They made a movie about it with Orson Welles, Citizen Kane. And they came out and they said that, oh, I did research, none of it's true, it's all fake. And they said, look at this website, it's a photo of a North Korean prison, doesn't exist here. And look at this website, they say that this train station is a FEMA camp. And I had even predicted a few days before that they would go with that straw man attack because I'd sent them all the information, I could see what they were doing. And this is the military-industrial complex absorbing America and basically declaring a police state and reinstituting a form of slavery. They ship drugs in, they make laws where if you use the product that they ship in, you go to prison. And you work for 25 cents an hour, and the good old boys get on talk radio and say, good, make prisoners work. But did you ever think it's taxpayer paid for, the profits are privatized off of slave labor, you got 4 million plus people working in slave labor, and they work for below, on average, 25 cents an hour? What's that going to do to your wages? You think China's driving down your wages? You think Mexico? You think India? You think Paraguay is driving down your wages? At least there, it's pretty much a prison, but the families are getting something. This is people in prisons that are taxpayer paid for, and then the profit is off of somebody working for 25 cents an hour or less. Telemarketing, furniture, license plates, refurbishing computers. And by the way, the Japanese-American main group has come out and said they're worried about the NDAA and secret arrest of Americans and all the rest of this. I mean, it just boggles the mind that all of this is happening. And then on the heels of the NDAA, they've built the camps, they've admitted the camps are going in, and now they want the personnel to man them. And they say you've got to be signed up starting next year in February, and you've got to be ready from them on out. You're given a basic contract to be standing by to man the camps. So they're paying groups now to man the camps. I mean, let me think. They've been building the camps for decades. They've been keeping them quiet, but they're on old military bases and private facilities. That's admitted now in the Emergency Centers Establishment Act. It documents that our analysis was spot on. It's exactly what we had seen them building and constructing, but we were only piecing it together and reverse engineering, and it confirmed it all and more. In fact, it stunned me how accurate we were with the pieces we had. But now all the pieces are in the jigsaw puzzle. And so these things are in place. They build a bunch of them, small ones, medium ones, huge 1 million person camps. I mean, that's a big city. That's a camp the size of Austin, Texas. I mean, my God. And it talks about the civilian inmate labor camp. It says you're going to work in these. And I've heard Michael Savage years ago say, we're going to make these people that are in the camps work. We're not going to pay for you. No, I know you're going to work for nothing and then displace everybody else's jobs. I mean, I guess the slave camps that Walmart and others have bought their goods from in China, they're just going to move them here now. And, of course, who cares if the Constitution says all this is wrong? They have basically thrown that down the toilet. Makes the crimes of Nixon look like something a choir boy would do. So Rex 84 is in place. All of this has happened. All of this has been done. And I am live here at 7:32 Central, 8:32 Eastern, reporting to you live right now, asking you to call your friends and family and to have them go to Infowars.com. Project overview and anticipated project requirements, lining the people up to now man the camps, right as the world economy collapses by design, right as the New World Order banking system is announced, right as the sovereignty is butchered, right as they get rid of posse comitatus, right as they tell you they're going to arrest you, right as it comes out that they're calling mainline protesters terrorists and telling cops this, right as this treason is trotted out in everybody's face, exclusive government activating FEMA camps across America. It's one thing to build them. I saw a couple years ago where they were taking and refurbishing the old Japanese camps for use. That was in Associated Press. I mean, this is so chilling. And then you see people like Colbert making fun of this, and you know, that's coming up later in the show we taped. It's just so sad this has to happen. I mean, this is not going to be good for 99.9% of us. This is not good for our society. The globalists have a philosophy of eugenics and post-industrial world and shutdown of the economy. And you look at what happened to the Japanese, where they took, many of them owned companies and shipping companies and fishing companies and big farms, very hardworking people in the free market system. Some of them were millionaires in the 1940s, which is like being worth hundreds of millions today. And they just took their stuff, raped their women in many cases. And their sons still, though, to prove themselves, went and joined the U.S. military and went and fought and died valiantly in the European theater. I mean, as if somebody who'd been American for 100 years couldn't be trusted. And they arrested some Italians and some Germans as well. In fact, Fredericksburg, outside Austin, they put up signs saying that they were a Dutch or Croatian, depending on which sign they put up, community. And they said, oh, we're not German. They took all the German signs down. Now it's a big tourist trap. And, you know, ran around saying, hey, don't come after us. We're not German. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, if we had a war with England, when we start arresting anybody who had an English name, oh, my name's Jones, or let's say we had a war with Mexico, which could happen. Mexico is just totally collapsed, out of control. Would we arrest everybody with the name Gonzalez or Hernandez? I mean, this is what we're talking about. And then you get the internal documents, and they are saying they're going to go after people who are constitutionalists, people who actually understand what's going on. I mean, remember, Fox News and Glenn Beck said there were no FEMA camps when it was in the Wall Street Journal before it got bought by Rupert Murdoch. I mean, this is the type of stuff that we're facing. Again, I shot like an hour and 45 minutes. There were a few screw-ups, a few graphics that went haywire. It's an incredible transmission tonight. You know, sure, it gets seen by members of PrisonPlanet.tv, and then it goes out on the web later to everybody else. And I'm sad that our average newscast only gets seen by a couple 100,000 people. And in over a week, a few million watch the show. But, you know, my show started small on Access TV. The radio reaches 3 million a day now. But it's just, this is powerful stuff. This needs to be seen. Dude, what's your ETA? 5 minutes, okay. Because I tell you, I am just absolutely hammered tired here. We're pouring our guts out for you. And the news we're going to cover tonight, we're going to have a review of Clockwork Orange and the whole globalist brainwashing police state grid. We've got a review of the Colbert Report demonizing us on Comedy Central last night. So that's coming up. Astronomers have discovered the biggest black holes ever. NASA telescope confirms alien planet habitable zone. That's coming up. Father of the free software movement says the internet's just been designed by the Pentagon as a giant surveillance grid. We've got incredible pension funds being grabbed news by governments. Just amazing, amazing information that is coming up tonight. But the number one thing, I mean, I'm exhausted, but I can't wait to get on the radio tomorrow and cover this article, because the greatest thing of my 17 years of busting my hind end for a great cause of liberty, it's been an honor, not a hindrance, is that now we've built enough of a platform that when we hit it hard, and when you hit it hard, and when we get the information out on Twitter, Facebook, and the globalist weapon systems using it against them, and on your email and on other talk radio shows, that we're able now every week at least, used to be every few months, now it's every week, every day, to punch through the Berlin Wall of disinformation and to force a debate and a discussion about what's really happening. And we are getting numbers from police that call us and send us information that now 40, 50, 60% of their departments are waking up, because I and Ron Paul and others were willing to go out and talk about FEMA camps and military on the streets and stuff that sounded crazy. Now as it's happening, people are like, whoa, you're not a tinfoil hat wearer, you are Nostradamus. This is coming true. In fact, I had an Army officer call me last week, and he said, I was known as, his name is Bruce, You know, I was known as a tinfoil Bruce. Now I'm known as Bruce Adamus. And that's the same experience, because who cares if idiots laugh at you who are uninformed? I mean, that's like coming in and your 2-year-old's pouring the cereal on their head, and you tell them, don't do that, it makes a mess. The 2-year-old laughs at you. You don't get mad at the 2-year-old pouring cereal on their head. You realize it's a 2-year-old. And so you're like, governments using the military, bad. Mega banks creating false currency and signing you onto the debt, bad. And the public's like, no, like a child at you. Feel sorry for them. Plant the seed dozens of times with them laughing. This is how we're going to beat the globalist. I mean, it's not even a debate. Who cares if some poor person who's ignorant laughs at you? It'd be like if you pulled up to some, autistic person's house and you said your house is on fire and they went, "Ugh," and ran past you. So what? You call the fire department. You saved them. They don't know. Don't take it personal when people that never read a history book, never studied geopolitical issues, laugh at you. It's our job to warn them and move on. And so I enjoy it when people laugh at me. I enjoy it because it means I'm having an effect. They wouldn't have Nightline, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, New York Times, Rolling Stone, New York Daily News attacking me and lying about me if I wasn't hurting them badly. They're tyrants. With my tax money and my name, they're murdering innocent people worldwide for resources. I don't like them. And so if I can stab them with a truth ice pick and discredit them and watch them bleed out, I mean, they can laugh at me all day. They can sit there and slap me in the face. Especially they just slap me. And I'm just jabbing them like a foot-long ice pick at them. Just keep slapping me. I'm not worried about this. I'm going to keep shoving this all the way in you. Oh, you think that's funny? Here, how about some in your neck? You understand that? And now they're going, okay, FEMA camps, get ready to arrest them, get ready to shut the internet off. Go ahead, do all that. You don't understand. We already put the poison in your drink. You already drank it. Now, you may be able to go on for a while longer, like Johnny Cash says, but sooner or later, we're going to cut you down. Don't you get it? We saw your game plan. We called it. Now, when you carry the rest of your program out, do you think people are going to listen to you or us, even if you've killed me? No, I live on. No amount of algorithms and internet expunging systems are going to stop it. People are taping this. They're saving hard copies. They're making copies. They've got the truth. It lives on. You're not stopping jack crap. In my one conscious existence in this universe, I stood for decency and life, and you people stand for death, and we are going to destroy you. No wonder you want life extension, because you think everything is just about this one life. You don't understand that ideas live on through the future. Or maybe you do with all your genetic engineering, trying to wreck and override everything that created eons, that took eons to develop. I'm done ranting. I'm told we're almost ready here to go with the hour-and-a-half plus transmission. Dude, take your time, because, we've done tape shows before where I get mad and F-bomb gets left in there. I'm trying to even expunge that from my own lifestyle. That way it doesn't even happen when I'm doing it here. What, do you want to play crazy like Alex Jones? We'll come back with a full show? All right, cue that up and we'll do that. It's not that I couldn't keep talking. It's just when I start tying my words up in knots, it's time to get off the air. God almighty. It's the same thing over and over again. At Waco in 1993, when the Bradley fighting vehicles were ramming the church and machine gunning anybody that came out, because the FLIR footage got released later, came out in the congressional hearings, never made the news. They would say, come out. We're peaceful, hands up. And when they came out, they'd shoot them and run over their bodies with the tanks. And then the military posed with the skulls of dead kids and thought it was really cool. They were in the church records building, and they went and put an explosive on top of the building and killed everybody inside with an anti-personnel weapon, a bunker-busting mine. And I thought about Delta Force and people that were there celebrating killing some U.S. kids, 2, 3-year-olds. I mean, even if their parents were bad people, which a lot of them weren't. I mean, God, you really are evil. I mean, you're just looking to kill somebody so you can, be in the locker room and, yeah, I killed some people. Killed some kids? I mean, if you're so tough, go join a boxing club or a jiu-jitsu club or something. I mean, you want to some year-old, splatter them with a mine, and then celebrate with their little skulls like you're a tough guy. Man, as a God-fearing person, the universe hates you. I mean, you don't have any idea what you're opening yourself up to, and you're very, very sad creatures. The good news is most of our military is not bad people, and my point of getting into Waco is that they said we're not assaulting. It's like Mars Attacks. We got to get that clip where the aliens are running around shooting people with plasma rays, disintegrating them, and they'll say, "Don't run, we are your friends," and people stop. "Oh, you're my friend?" "Yeah," and they'd shoot them and then laugh. That's a military tactic. Even if you know it's ridiculous when they're assaulting you, to say we're not assaulting you makes you think, "Oh, you're not assaulting me." It's kind of like that scene in Private Ryan that's based on a composite of true stories where they're fighting in the blown-up house, and the German soldier and the U.S. Army soldier, and the U.S. soldier is he's starting to overpower the German who's trying to stab him with this big dagger, and the U.S. soldier's, is about to beat him, and the German goes, "Oh, no, let's be friends. Stop." And the guy gives up for a minute, and he just drives that knife right into his heart. And so they just broadcast, "We're not assaulting," as they're machine gunning and setting it on fire. That's the same thing. TSA says, "We're not groping kids." They get caught groping on video. "Okay, we're going to stop that." Never stop it. Or, "We're not stripping old ladies." And, "Oh, well, stripping, but we don't call it stripping." And we're not trying to pass the NDAA that affects citizens, secret arrest army on the streets. Then it all comes out and they go, "Okay, we are. What's the big deal?" Or, "We're not building FEMA camps." "Well, here's all the purchase orders. Now you're manning them." "Well, let's not discuss it." Again, it's a total disrespect. And so the New World Order I'm in the lock with the New World Order. They got a dagger pushing it right at me. It's starting to go into my shirt. I got to get fired up, overpower them, get the dagger away, bare minimum. And they're telling me, "I'm not trying to drive this in your heart. Never mind all the stuff we put in your water. Just don't ever mind it." And I'm like, "Come on, public, we got to hold this back." And the public's like, "But they say they want to be friends." That's going to kill you. Do you understand that? You cannot hesitate. You've got to go research this information now. We're going to go to this video clip and come back with the hour-and-a-half plus info. The ball is in your court. The article, everything bibliographed. Is it pearls before swine? I don't think it is. But even if your neighbors, friends, and family laugh at you, you've got a responsibility to give it to them. Because listen, 5% won the war against the British. It's always been a tiny minority that's animated and who won't back down that decides history. It's a tiny minority of evil that's fighting a minority of good, and we outnumbered them 10-1. You have to be the leader. You are the leader. And if you're watching and listening to this, you are the resistance.
I'm gonna a rabble slave with a weapon. Disarm him, get the guards, disarm him immediately. Whereas one of the slaves has a weapon, raise the alarm.
I wanna be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones, and yet have enough gumption without a presumption to know what's going on. Then I can throw bananas at the global clowns and hear aristocratic moans. I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. I went looking one day on the internet just to see what I could find, when I heard this talk show maniac just proudly speaking his mind. It was really wild, but the more I heard, it made a whole lot of sense to me. I want to thank you, Alex, for opening my eyes and helping the blind to see. I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones, and yet have enough gumption without a presumption to know what's going on. Then I can throw bananas at the global clowns and hear aristocratic moans. I want to be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. All the talking heads on the TV screen with an arrogant sophistication talking about what's been going on around the world and here in our nation. They all seem to turn like a pack of wolves when Alex goes on the air. In spite of the facts, they launch their attacks, and I just don't think it's fair. I wanna be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones, and yet have enough gumption without a presumption that no one's going on. Then I can throw bananas at the global clowns and hear aristocratic moans. I wanna be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones. Yeah, I wanna be crazy, crazy like Alex Jones.
I'm your Christian leader. Never mind Skull and Bones. Never mind Bohemian Grove. Never mind my actual policies. Just buy my rhetoric, buy my lies, because you're my slaves. We're going to put in a Democrat later who works for the exact same people, and you're going to love it then when they do it. All you Democrats that hate the Patriot Act and all you Democrats that hate the police state, you're suddenly going to love it.